So we have one big chance to become really amazing, and that's with me, whether we like it or not. I hate to put that weight on my shoulders, but that's what we have. Because we were ripped off by every country, I always say friend and foe.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, the friend was oftentimes worse than the foe. Ripped off on trade, ripped off on the military too. Hey Glenn, when I got involved, NATO, I wasn't a big expert in NATO, but I have a lot of common sense, and I figured it out in about 2 minutes. Nobody was paying. I mean, they weren't paying their bills. So we were defending Europe, and we were getting ripped off by Europe in trade. It was like massive. No country can sustain that. We were paying most of the bill for NATO.
Right.
And when I say most, I mean like in the 80s and 90% and maybe 100. And I got involved and I said, you're going to have to pay your bills or we're not going to be here for you any longer. And they said, well, does he really mean that? And they said, you mean if we don't pay the bill, you're not going to be here? Nope, I'll be gone.
Good for you.
And they said, And the Secretary General of NATO, Stoltenberg, good guy, said, he has done something that I've never witnessed before. Because Bush would come in, give a speech and leave. Obama would come in, give a speech and leave. Biden we don't even talk about because he followed me. He let it get out of control. But he said Trump came in, didn't give a speech, made a nice speech, but didn't care about it. What he cared about was the fact that nobody was paying. They weren't paying their bills. So we were ripped off. We were defending them, and they were killing us with the European Union, which was formed for the sole purpose of taking advantage of the United States of America. And I said, this isn't going to go on. So I'm not so popular in Europe because of what I've done, but in many ways I am popular. People don't want to see us fail.
If it wasn't for their press that is worse than ours, because most of it is state-run, I think you would be popular because the people are in the same position.
They get it.
They get it. It's happening in their country, and I don't understand how.
It is happening over there. It's happening.
I mean, I just read a report that they said Sweden, the Netherlands, could be out by 2030. I talked to Liz Truss just a couple of weeks ago, and she said, Glenn, England is a failed state.
Yeah.
How are the...
She's been very nice. She's been saying good things about me. She got...
The shaft.
I think so. I mean, she basically said, I want to reduce taxes, and they threw her out.
Yeah.
And she was right. I reduced taxes. It's one of the things that made us do so well.
Yeah.
Because we had the strongest economy in history during my first 4 years. My first 4 years was incredible. I think we're going to do even better now. But we have a chance to do something that's monumental, and I'm in the process of doing it right now.
But how do you negotiate with a group of elites who, honestly, they were for the Great Reset, the WEF Great Reset?
I don't have to negotiate. I'm talking to people out of respect, but I don't have to. So we're this giant store that people want to come in and buy from. We're the United States. We have the richest consumer, et cetera, right? But we're not going to be that way for long if we don't do something. But we're this giant store, and they all want to come in and they want to take our product. But to take our product, they're going to have to pay. And we'll either make a deal with them or we'll just set a price, because some countries are worse than others. Some countries have ripped us off really badly, and some countries have just ripped us off a little bit. But almost all of them have ripped us off because we've had really poor leadership. And what's going to happen is we're going to negotiate we're negotiating with 70 different countries. We're showing great respect. But in the end, we may make deals, but either that or I just set a price. I said, here's what you're going to pay for the privilege of servicing the United States of America. And they have an option. They can maybe talk to me a little bit, or they can not shop. They don't have to shop at this big store, or they can shop.
Right.
But in any event, they're going to have to pay. Look, we owe $36 trillion for a reason. The reason is the trade, and also the endless wars, the stupid wars that we fought. We go into the Middle East, we blow it up, we leave, we don't get anything. And you're a big fan of exactly what I'm saying. Meaning, let's not do this
Let's not
stupid
do that.
stuff.
Doesn't work.
It's stupid. Endless wars that they don't even want us. We got into wars they didn't even want us. So all of that stuff. When I left 4 years ago, we had no wars. We had no Israel and Hamas. And by the way, it would have never happened because Iran was broke. They were broke. I had sanctions that were so strong on Iran. They were totally broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah. We didn't have Russia, Ukraine. That would have never happened, by the way. We didn't have the Afghanistan embarrassment, one of the great embarrassments in the history of our country. We didn't have any inflation.
I know.
Don't forget, I charged China hundreds of billions worth of tariffs. They talk about inflation. We had no inflation. Because that doesn't cause inflation. Stupidity causes inflation. High energy caused inflation. When they took over my energy, we were making it like nobody's ever seen. And then the prices doubled. By the way, because of that, Putin went in. If they kept, you see what's going on with energy now, it's going down.
Yeah.
It makes it much harder for Putin to prosecute the war. So we have a lot of great things on the horizon.
One of your spokespeople came out today and said that you're tired, getting fatigued with Zelenskyy. I think he treated you poorly in the Oval, myself. He's kind of a punk. But is he the problem?
You said it.
Yeah. Is he the problem? Is Putin the problem? Or is Europe the problem?
So look, Russia's a very big military force, and Ukraine isn't. Without Ukraine, and I'm the one that supplied the javelins to them, so I did a lot for them because the tanks got stuck in the mud, and then they got javelins, right? And they always say Trump gave the javelins, and it was, in that case, Obama gave sheets. He gave sheets. They sent nothing. But Biden gave money like nobody's ever seen before. $350 billion. $350 billion. Gave military equipment, gave storage. We had massive storage bins full of ammunition, buildings as long as the eye could see, gave the ammunition. What he did is, look, between the border and the this and the that, but this war is so bad. And remember this, I say it here, I say it every time. This is Biden's war, not my war. I'm just trying to end it. And I'm actually ending it, yes, for money, but I'm not ending it for that, number one. I'm ending it because they're losing 5,000 people a week. Young soldiers are being killed, Russian and Ukrainian both. But in the end, Russia has a lot of soldiers, and they have a very big military. And things were said, like when Zelenskyy was in the Oval Office, I was talking about getting it done, and he starts screaming, but we need security, meaning security after the fact. I said, security? I don't even know if we can get this deal done. He's asking for more, just more and more and more. And he doesn't have the cards, as you know, because you see what's happening over there. He doesn't have the cards. So hopefully he's going to get it done, because I don't believe that Vladimir Putin would be doing this for anybody else but me. A lot of people have said it too. I think he had the idea of going all the way through. I think he's willing to make a deal. And I would say thus far, he's been easier to deal with than Zelenskyy. Thus far.
Mr. President, I have to tell you, I didn't understand why gold was going up so fast until I walked into the Oval.
Oh, well, we're making it nice. We're making it the way it should be.
You have transformed the Oval.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I think I've transferred it and transformed it, maybe more importantly in what we're doing with our ideas, our policies, because we had some really bad things happening to our country. And we now have a strong border. We're now respected. When you take a look at the money that's pouring in through the tariffs, you're going to see, I want to. That would be an ambition. I'm going to make you a fan of it, but
you got
not that I want to.
I would love to be a fan of it.
Not that I want to do, tariffs or anything else, but I want to save our country.
Yes,
we were losing $5 billion a day. You can't do that. It's not sustainable. So we'll be doing another interview in a year or 2 years from now, and you're going to say, you know, you were right on that. I've been right about a lot of things.
I have been corrected by your actions before.
Yeah, but
so thank you.
It's a great honor to be with you.
Always.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
You bet.
much.